Alright guys, I have spent the past month or so researching and testing modded Oblivion. I thought that the fourth game in the Elder Scrolls series did not have an active modding community like Morrowind or Skyrim. But I was wrong. As I kept researching, I was blown away by the fact that there is a small group of mod authors who are still working on a game that was released in 2006. The passion for Oblivion is still there, and that is understandable, as for many, it is their favorite Elder Scrolls game. In this video, I'll talk about mods that will make you forget that Oblivion is a 2006 game. You have never seen a prettier Cyrodiil. Mods that update the world space and add so much to the game world. Mods that enhance gameplay. Mods that add extra content and quests. We will then take a look at some new line mods available for Elder Scrolls 4. We will talk about mod guides and mod packs for Oblivion. Finally, we will discuss Skyblivion versus modded Oblivion. There is lots to cover, so let's get started then, shall we? I know many people don't play Oblivion because of the flawed leveling, bad NPC growth, buggy magic system and many other issues. Many old-timers and purists consider Oblivion to be the weakest Elder Scrolls game of the series. This is when Bethesda moved away from zone-scaled enemies, hit chance and spell chance of Morrowind to level scaling of enemies. These changes meant progression was unsatisfying because of level scaling and massive hit point pools for both the player and the enemies. This ensured that combat was spammy. All of these issues did put many people off from playing the game. But all of that is in the past. The main thing you need to understand is that most of Oblivion's issues with player leveling, NPC level scaling, and engine level issues have been fixed by mods with bug fixes and other changes and improvements. Having said that, you have to understand that this is a 2006 game from Bethesda. Even if you use a curated stable list of mods, you will encounter issues and crashes. That is the nature of the beast. Sadly, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion does not have something like Open Morrowind for an ultra-stable experience, which we all enjoy when playing Morrowind. But nevertheless, modded Oblivion is totally worth playing, it's fairly stable and a lot of fun. Have you seen a prettier Oblivion? There are new texture mods for everything. Architecture, landscape, rocks, dungeons, grasses, trees, clutter, flowers, plants, fungus, and every imaginable object has been retextured. All of Oblivion's vanilla weather systems are redone and new weather is added to complete a true atmospheric diversity in the climate. There are also new custom-made textures for clouds, sun and proper fog. Exterior and interior lighting and sun glare too have been changed. The mod pack I use creates all of this stunning beauty by combining lots of texture mods, weather mods, lighting mods and more. I don't know about you guys, but this feels like I am playing a modern game. There are so many mods that make changes to many outdoor locations, making the game world more diverse and interesting. In many wilderness locations, we see cascading waterfalls, more realistic foliage and scenic lookouts. In the coastal regions, we see wide beaches littered with driftwood and occasional rocks. Even though they are wide open, they portray a sense of solitude and seclusion. The Blackwood Forest southeast of Leavin is changed to a dense wooded forest on moist ground. Small creeks meander between the trees, leading to the south below the canopy of leaves. Almost all of the cities now have an area of farms and cultivated land. Some of them have multiple farms, several watchtowers and working mills. This adds to the realism and immersion when exiting or entering a city. Better Cities is a giant mod that overhauls and enhances all the cities from the original game, adding new buildings, new NPCs and new quests. You won't recognize many of the cities now, especially the Imperial City. There's so much content here. Many bridges, priories, shrines and roadside inns all have beautiful creative additions like lights, fresh water fountains, flowers, trees and other decorations. All the ruined and operational forts in the game have been redesigned to be unique and more interesting. There are mods that totally overhaul the Iliad ruins, which are now large, full of life, and harder and more beautiful. There are also mods that overhaul every dungeon in-game. Bland, dreary, cookie-cutter caves and dungeons be gone. All of these and many other changes will ensure every spot you see will feel different. You will always find a reason to go out and explore the wilderness of Cyrodiil. Now we talk about some fun mods. Ascension Immersive Vanilla Overhaul makes changes to level lists, loot systems, creature spawn logic, fatigue system, stealth mechanics and much more. It improves Oblivion systems in all of these and many more. Balanced NPC level cap and balanced creature stats are mods that offer a comprehensive solution to Oblivion's NPC and creature scaling problem. Enhanced Economy is an awesome mod that adds location and merchant based prices, makes changes to merchant gold amounts and mercantile leveling. This mod also adds merchant quests like the Merchant's Guild in Daggerfall. Mascar Oblivion Overhaul is a massive effort that adds random encounters, notice boards, dynamic quests, new factions who hate each other, and so much more. Ultimate Leveling changes how the player character levels. It offers an experience-based leveling system or a skill usage leveling system like Vanilla. During level up, you get a designated amount of attribute points to spend however you please each level, and the min-maxing of Vanilla does not exist. Avlata Magica Oblivion Magic Overhaul is my favorite gameplay mod. It overhauls and expands Oblivion's magic system. If you're playing as a mage character, this mod is a must as it adds 30 new magic effects, over 180 new spells and new enchanted items and more. But for me, the best change is to the mastery perks. Vanilla mastery perks were incredibly boring, where they had a journeyman can cast journeyman, apprentice and novice level spells. The mastery perks here add awesome gameplay upgrades that feel like real perks. As you can see, there are tons of gameplay mods that totally overhaul the systems and mechanics of Oblivion that dramatically improve the game. You won't go back to Vanilla after playing modded Oblivion, that is for sure. Better Cities is a massive mod that adds tons of new buildings and new occupants to make the cities seem bigger, and there are also new quests available to encourage players to visit the new buildings and meet the additional citizens of Cyrodiil. Every city has a series of quests that will keep you busy for a long time. This mod also adds 2 new factions with questlines. You have the Rangers Guild, which exists to protect and maintain the forests of Cyrodiil, and then you have the Gold Horse Courier, which is an imperial chartered guild dedicated to delivering mail and packages all over Cyrodiil. You can do quests for both of these factions. Better Cities is an incredible mod that adds so much to base Oblivion. This is a must-have according to me. Okay, Guild Advancement is a mod that ensures you don't become the Archmage of Cyrodiil without ever casting a single spell, or become the head of the Fighters Guild with novice combat skills. Both Oblivion and Skyrim were criticized for enabling a player to become a jack of all trades and lead factions. This mod enables Morrowind style faction and skill requirements. Mages Guild quests and Fighters Guild quests. These two mods add a number of quests to both of these factions. In Vanilla Oblivion, you complete 19 quests to rise to the top of the Fighters Guild. Now you need to complete a total of 55 quests. Similarly, in Vanilla Oblivion, you complete 18 quests to rise to the top of the Mages Guild. With this mod, you will now need to complete a total of 54 quests. Knights of the Nine expansion is a mod that adds 4 small quests after you have beaten the Knights of the Nine DLC. Knights of the Nine Revelations is another mod that adds an epic quest spanning 4000 years where you meet characters from the Elder Scrolls lore including Pelinal, Umaril, Alessia and Morihos. The mod adds 40 plus NPCs, 1500 lines of dialogue, fully voice acted by a dozen voice actors with its own soundtrack. Incredible. After you do the Vanilla quest Order of the Virtuous Blood, if you install the mod Vampire Hunting, you can work on 28 new quests that become available. Essentially, Cyrodiil is suffering from a plague of vampirism and you join the order and hunt them down. The Aelid Steps is a phenomenal adventure mod where you discover the ancient Aelid teleporting network of stepstones. You find out how to activate them and then use the steps to discover a new way of traveling around Cyrodiil and search for new unknown Aelid sites. If you enjoy Aelid history in Oblivion, this mod is a must-have as it expands and explains some of these mysteries while following a drawn out story plot. There is one last content based mod I want to talk about. This mod is called Companion Vilja. I played with this companion for around 20 hours for the first time last month, and I was blown away by how invested I was in the story and her comments. As you wander Cyrodiil, she wants to chat with you occasionally, and her comments are always interesting. What I found awesome is that you can't easily force her relationship or story quests to advance quickly because they are meant to be experienced more passively, like real relationships. She has her own quests and occasionally will ask you to help. And her location specific commentary adds so much to your experience, especially if you are walking everywhere in Cyrodiil. Interesting fact, the late Sir Terry Pratchett, who's an English author, was so impressed by the mod, specifically mentioning his appreciation for the way in which she would acknowledge small gifts such as strawberries. He contacted the mod author and added his own lines and helped in the development of Vilja. I think Vilja is the gold standard when it comes to companions, and it was developed by one lady, Emma from Sweden. One person, just imagine. Amazing. If you mod Oblivion, you should definitely install Companion Vilja and experience a slice of Oblivion modding history. As you can see, there's tons of content, tons of quests, tons of new factions. There is so much to do, and I haven't even mentioned many other quest mods. So yeah, there you go. Elsewhere, the Deserts of Anaquina lets you walk from Cyrodiil into Elsewhere and includes new landscapes, towns, quests, monsters, mounts, and homes and items. Windfall is a large adventure or quest mod where the player will play through a minimum of 38 quests and a maximum of 52 quests based on player choices. Oblivion is a fully playable working game world where you can play The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind in the gaming engine of Oblivion. Quests, NPCs, creatures, items, and graphical features have all been painstakingly converted, upgraded, or created by hand to bring a true to the original experience. Tamriel World Map Project is a group of projects aiming to build the entire Tamriel using Oblivion engine. It's also the only project that is still alive and has content for every province. So there you have it, guys. I hope this basic introduction to the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion mods gives you an idea of the kind of content that is available for the game. It should also demonstrate to you the amount of work that has gone into remastering Oblivion for 2024 and beyond. Now that you are aware of all the incredible mods available for Elder Scrolls IV, let's talk about mod guides and mod packs for Oblivion. I would highly recommend either using a mod guide instead of adding mods yourself and experimenting. Oblivion is a 2006 game from Bethesda, and without understanding which mods need what patches, modding Oblivion will be an extremely frustrating experience with lots of issues and crashes. If you want a Vanilla Plus experience, then I would recommend this mod guide called Through the Valleys, Vanilla Plus Modding Guide. You will have to install the mods manually and have to follow the guide to the T. If you want an Oblivion overhauled mod list, I would recommend a Wabajack mod pack called A Painted World. This is a curated and community tested mod list that focuses on stylized and timeless visuals, modern combat, deeper RPG mechanics, and meaningful progression. After trying to install mods on my own and getting frustrated with all the crashes and other issues, I visited the Wabajack website and installed A Painted World. The difference in terms of visuals and stability is night and day. I would highly recommend it. But I will leave the link to both of these guides in the description for you guys to read and understand all the mods being used in these lists and decide for yourself which approach to take. Alright, Skyblivion versus modded Oblivion. As I was exploring modded Oblivion over the last month or so and seeing for myself how incredible Oblivion is with all these modern visuals, stunning environment changes, content additions, new quests, and new land mods, I started asking myself this question: what is the point of Skyblivion? Don't get me wrong, I love what the Skyblivion team is doing. Their perseverance to keep at the project for so long deserves all of our respect. But I don't know if Skyblivion will offer a real Oblivion experience. The humor, the seriousness, the jank, the charm, and the game mechanics makes Morrowind Oblivion a wonderful experience. Can Skyblivion recreate that soul of Oblivion? That is the big question, and all of us don't know the answer to that yet. I have a table here which I've created, which has the features of Morrowind Oblivion and Skyblivion, and so we can kind of make some kind of a comparison, or what we will get and what is missing. The first entry is the base game world, main quest and faction quests. So of course Skyblivion will have all of that, and Morrowind Oblivion of course has that. And then you have the DLCs, Shivering Eyes, Night of the Nine, Wizard's Tower, Thief's Den, Mehrunes Razor, Spell Tomes, Fighter's Stronghold. All of these DLCs are available in Oblivion, and Skyblivion team will be working on these DLCs only after 2025. So these won't be available right away. Then you have modern visuals and graphics, and as you have seen, Morrowind Oblivion has that, and Skyblivion 2 will have that. Okay, next is engine fixes and quality of life fixes. Now both the Skyrim modding scene and the Oblivion modding scene have unofficial patches, engine level fixes, patches to fix all sorts of issues. All of these are already there for the Skyrim engine and the Oblivion engine. So my only recommendation for the Skyblivion team is to package these mods along with the Skyblivion installer, because we've all observed how the Fallout London team did not package these with their installer, and the community had to hunt for mods and look for solutions. It was not a good experience. So I just hope the Skyblivion team ensures that it's a one-click installer and everything works. Modern user interface, icons and maps. As you've seen, Morrowind Oblivion has completely changed many of the user interface elements. You also have a dark mode user interface option, and you also have options for maps. You can have a paper map, or you can have a 3D map, or you can have a fantasy kind of a map. So there are many options here for Morrowind Oblivion, and I think Skyblivion will come with its own paper map, and the user interface definitely looks phenomenal in Skyblivion too. Yeah, next is character creation, attributes, progression, leveling and mastery perks. Now all of these are as basic and extremely important for ensuring you have a proper role-playing experience. So Morrowind Oblivion has fixed many of those issues which we spoke about. We have also seen the latest dev diary from the Skyblivion team, where they show the character screen, the progression, leveling, and also changes to mastery perks. And Skyblivion 2 should have a very good leveling and progression system. Okay, extra perks during level up to create a wide variety of builds. So Morrowind Oblivion does not have this perk system. Of course, you have mastery perks that automatically adds gameplay features as you keep improving your skills. But there are no separate perks that are tied to attributes or tied to your character, right? So this is where Skyblivion is going to add 72 perks that will enable you to create unique character builds. So all of these perks are tied to attributes, and every time you level up, you select a perk, and with these perks, you can create very interesting builds. Yes, when playing Morrowind Oblivion, I definitely found a limitation, because my skills were improving, but then there were no major gameplay changes for my skills. So for example, I was playing as a restoration mage, and I was also using a dagger. And if I do the same thing in Skyrim, if I use a mod like NRM's Ordinator perks, you could actually see the skills improving. At the same time, you could observe new gameplay changes that are happening for your skills. So that's something I missed in Morrowind Oblivion, and I'm so excited that Skyblivion's perk system will enable us to create all sorts of unique builds. Hopefully the perks will add gameplay features too. So yeah, I'm very excited about Skyblivion's perk system, and I think it's going to be awesome. Next are the skills. Oblivion had 21 skills, and Morrowind Oblivion will have all of those skills. Skyblivion won't have athletics, there's no acrobatics, there's no mysticism, school of magic, there's no hand-to-hand, there's no armorer, there's no mercantile. They offer a new skill called smithing. So essentially Skyblivion is using all Skyrim skills, and they have not implemented the skills that are unique to Oblivion. So this is a huge concern for me, huge concern, because all of these skills are extremely important to create a wide variety of builds, right? And the lack of mysticism, school of magic is extremely concerning, The Skyblivion devs definitely did say that they will add all of the mysticism magic effects into other schools of magic. So it remains to be seen how these missing skills will affect gameplay, will affect builds. So we need to see. We don't know as of now. But for me, this is a huge concern. Next is the creatures, right? Oblivion has all types of creatures like animals, monsters, goblins, undead, Daedra, and a variety of creatures under these categories. And many of these creatures were very interesting. They had all sorts of resistances As you can see here, resist fire, elemental resist paralysis, resist poison. Some creatures had also very interesting defenses like reflect damage, physical reflect damage, reflect magic, spell absorption. And they also had very interesting attacking powers like elemental damage, of course. Then they could drain your attributes, and you also had some creatures who could reflect your spells and who could also reflect your damage, physical damage. And there are some creatures who would silence you, so you can't cast spells, and of course paralysis. So all of these effects have to be implemented in Skyblivion. Will the Skyblivion creatures have the exact creature resistances and attack types as seen in Oblivion? If any of this is missing, it'll take a lot from what Oblivion offers. Facing these creatures is a huge challenge when playing Oblivion, and I hope the Skyblivion team will implement these effects for these creatures. I'm sure they are aware of it, and all the team members are passionate about Oblivion, and I'm sure this will be implemented, but as of now we don't know. That's the reason I've placed a question mark right there. Next is the magic effects and spells. So you have magical effects and spells of Oblivion. With modded Oblivion, with Avlata Magica, the mod, this adds 180 new spells and 30 new magic effects in addition to the vanilla effects and spells. So you're getting something extra. Now Skyblivion, we still are not sure about many of the magic effects, especially with the lack of the mysticism school of magic. We also are not sure if all the spells in the base game will be available. So there's a question mark here too, right? Fame and Infamy system, we've seen that Skyblivion will have this. Now better dungeons and elite ruins. So we have mods that have overhauled vanilla dungeons and also overhauled elite ruins. So you don't have those copy pasted designs anymore. So modded Oblivion is good to go here. Skyblivion, they did show in one of their dev diaries, Skyblivion will have region specific elite ruins and variety of dungeon designs. You will experience interesting dungeons and elite ruins in Skyblivion too. So Oblivion's conversation system is one of the most interesting aspects of Oblivion according to me. As soon as you enter a city or enter a tavern, right, you'll start listening to all sorts of conversations that are happening between NPCs. It feels like the city is alive and the world is alive. In Skyrim, you had these pre-created scenes that had to be handcrafted. Now those Skyrim scenes were great, don't get me wrong, they were scripted and they were beautiful. But the problem is those scenes ran once or occasionally they would repeat, so you would listen to the same conversation again and again. In Oblivion, the beauty of the system is that you had around 30 or 40 questions and answers, and the NPCs would select from that list. In Skyrim, once you advance to a certain level, once you've visited the city multiple times, and the NPCs are silent because they have nothing to say, all the scripted scenes are over. I asked the devs in their Discord about this, and one of the devs replied saying that they will implement these conversations between NPCs using the Skyrim scene format, but they may try to make it like Oblivion. So that's again a question mark. We're not sure if we will get these dynamic NPC conversations in Skyblivion. So I've added a question mark right here too. Alright, factions. So all the vanilla major and minor factions will be there in both Modded Oblivion and in Skyblivion. Of course, Modded Oblivion has mods that will add new factions like Better Cities, Mascar's Oblivion Overhaul, elsewhere the Deserts of Anaquina. Skyblivion will only have the base game factions, so that's understood anyway. Next, of course, Modded Oblivion will have extra quests in Cyrodiil and then new quests in New Land mods. Skyblivion won't have that. Then gameplay, enhanced gameplay. I think both Skyblivion and Modded Oblivion will offer enhanced gameplay, better leveling, etc. And yes, player homes, both the options will offer player homes, and companions of Modded Oblivion will offer far more complex companions like Vilja, Aren and Fergus, whereas devs of Skyblivion did say that you'll have some faction companions who are basically vanilla companions. So I will link the document in the description for you guys to read and also click on those relevant links. Ultimately, all of you have to understand that the Oblivion modding scene has been active since 2007, and with so many talented Skyrim modders out there, the Skyblivion modding scene will catch up. Maybe in 2 years' time, Skyblivion may finally catch up to Modded Oblivion in terms of content, new quests, followers, factions, etc. But there are some people in the Oblivion modder and gamer community who prefer to stay with Modded Oblivion, like this mod author who expects a resurgence in Elder Scrolls 4 modding once Skyblivion releases. He also says that he will stick to mod Oblivion and won't bother with Skyblivion. I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. What do you think of modded Oblivion? Will you try it out soon? What about Skyblivion? Are you waiting with bated breath, or are you indifferent to it like some Oblivion lovers? Do share your comments, and I shall see you again next month as we explore the world of Elder Scrolls modding. May the divines watch over you.